In this video, we are going to talk about phylogenetic trees, which are diagrams that show the evolutionary relationship between multiple species. Before we look at any trees, let's see the difference between anagenesis and cladogenesis. Anagenesis describes an evolutionary change without branching in a species. In this example, we can see the slight changes in the chocolate chip cookies throughout each generation. The caramel color gets deeper and the number of chocolate chips increase. The cookie is changing gradually over time, but it is still in the same species. Cladogenesis is the opposite of anagenesis. This is an evolutionary change that breaks off into multiple branches and splittings. This causes one species to break off into various lineages. Here, the chocolate bar breaks off into two separate species, the chocolate chip cookie and the lava cake. The chocolate bar would be the common ancestor of the cookie and the lava cake. This phylogenetic tree contains operational taxonomic units that are related by a common ancestor of being a sweet treat. OTUs are all the species related in a phylogenetic tree. In this tree, they are found at the bottom. This would be considered a rooted tree because each of the OTUs is related at the top by being a sweet treat. Rooted trees have a common ancestor and branch off into different lineages. The first group to split from the tree is an outgroup because it is the least related to the rest of the tree. Here, the outgroup is the ice cream. It is split because it is not made with flour, while everything else in the tree is made with flour. The OTUs are separated with internal nodes, seen here. Internal nodes split a common ancestor into two different groups. We can see that being a breakfast sweet treat is an internal node and is separate from the internal node for desserts. The closeness of two species depends on the distance between the two species and the length of the branches. The longer the branch, the less related the OTU is to anything. As we can see, the croissant and the fruit tart are very far apart, and thus not closely related. The common ancestor is flour for these two OTUs, whereas the fruit tart and the apple pie are very closely related. Their most common ancestor is crust, which makes for a very short branch. As shown in this phylogenetic tree, each of these sweet treats are somehow related to one another, but vary by internal nodes and branch lengths.